Major General David McLaughlin, State President of the RSL, Mike Annette, CEO of the RSL Victoria, veterans, guests, media, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2015 launch of the RSL's annual Anzac Appeal. The Anzac Appeal is the most significant way by which the RSL raises funds. Those funds are then in turn spent on the assistance required and the welfare of current and former serving personnel. So we are fortunate today that we have a wide range of veterans in attendance from World War II right through into contemporary times. I'd now like to invite the manager of the Anzac Appeal for RSL Victoria to come forward and officially launch this year's campaign. Please welcome Peter Smith.
Welcome everyone to today's launch. My couple of words really want to focus on the people that make the appeal happen. I'm indebted firstly and foremostly to all of the thousands of veterans and other volunteers who go out there tirelessly day after day and make the Anzac badges available to the public, to the donating public. I want to leave my final acknowledgements, and again apologising that I don't acknowledge every single person, to Jack Bell. And I see Jack beautifully turned out as always. Jack, you're a picture of sartorial elegance as always. Jack's with us today, a former prisoner of war, World War II, and Jack, I hope you don't mind if I give an age secret away, but I think 94 at the moment, 95 perhaps? 97. Holy dolly, I've lost count. Ladies and gentlemen, can I just then symbolically launch the Anzac Appeal by asking the State President, Major General David McLaughlin, to come forward, and Sergeant Blue Kildare representing the Australian Defence Force. And I'll ask Blue if you wouldn't mind pinning on the first Anzac badge onto David, and perhaps.
Tricia Ziemer here at the Anzac Appeal. We're here with Jack Bell, 97 years old and a prisoner of war. Welcome.
Thank you very much. It's I'm very proud and pleased to be here today.
Now, tell me about your journey through the years.
Through my youth, well, I was of course born in 1917, so 1926 when I was only a youngster, of course the Great Depression hit us. And I can remember my mother feeding the wandering men who were looking for work, and they had a strange information those days. They had a little cairn of stones at the top of the street in the shape of the number, and they used to know that if they went to our number 26, they would get a meal. Now it was all hidden in this little cairn, and they used to follow. And my father finished up with one suit of clothes, which my mother gave them all away. And we ourselves weren't middle class, but we had enough money to keep us going. And I can remember those men today as a young boy, kid 10 and 11 and 12, watch them come. And it's fantastic that my family helped those people. It was a terrible time. 30% unemployment. Yeah. Shocking.
And what about your war effort?
Oh, my war. Well, I was in the Australian Militia Forces before the war in the artillery, and for 3 years, and I learnt that I could fire an 18-pounder gun over a hill and hit an anthill after some ranging shots. So I thought, gee, get out of this. I'll go in the air with them. I'm a moving target. Well, all my friends went into the army and stayed in the army and came through the war. A few died, of course. But I was in the Air Force and I was shot down by, would you believe, I always said it was ground fire, but the second pilot of the plane that was flying the aircraft said it was with tanks. What had happened, we're going through the desert in Libya, and we're flying down from the mountain range down to land at this little place called Massous, when the 15th Panzer Division was coming up the escarpment to attack Derna. And of course the firepower from an echelon of tanks and their supporting, but and shells hit us. Now, we're easy to hit because we're 94-foot wingspan, so we're an open target. And a shell landed just in front of me, but because I had the wireless and transmitter in front of me, I was protected in the upper part of the body, but the shrapnel hit through my right leg, arm, through my abdomen, up over my left shoulder. And I was not badly injured, but I was severely injured. The pilot, the navigator who I trained with, he was killed outright, but we were taken prisoners by the German Afrika Korps, and I spent 5 months in hospital recovering after an operation. I was saved by a German doctor who operated on me and removed the shrapnel out of my abdomen in my small intestines. And I never knew his name, and I've never been able to contact his family even since then. I would like to, but you know, these times pass and can't do anything about it. But I spent 3 years, 3 months and 3 weeks as a prisoner of war, and it wasn't pleasant, but I must admit that nothing compared to what the Japanese boys suffered. But without the Red Cross passes that were given to us spasmodically, we wouldn't have survived anyway. We would have died because the rations that were given to us was under the survival rate, which was in those days 2,250 calories. Well, we were issued with 2,000 calories, so slowly we were debilitated. We just couldn't help it. But the parcel sort of gave us the chance to, have a couple of days that we felt well.
Oh, that's good. Now, why is this Anzac appeal so important to you?
Well, I think of Tony and my fellow friends. We lost 17 aircraft out of our squadron, and to carry those bodies in coffins, and you can't help but think of them all the time. And it's so important that we support the welfare for the returned men and women and their dependents, because with widows it was very difficult for them until the Commonwealth government lifted their remuneration a little bit. But even now, they live in a wooden house, they can't afford to paint it. There's not enough money. And we need these funds to assist these people, and we badly need them. Well, I know every charity needs it, but we're thankful that the public are supporting the Anzac appeal so wonderfully.
Thank you very much for your time.